everyone. Welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we have a topper from UPSC Civil Services Exam 2022. Her name is Sakshma. She has scored All India rank 446 in the very first attempt. So today we are going to interact with Sakshma to understand about her preparation journey. We will understand how she managed to get such a top rank in the first attempt itself. So Sakshma, welcome to Lukman IAS.
Thank you, sir, for having me here.
Thank you. So just let us know about your, let's say, like happiness or the moment you saw the result in civil services, how you felt.
Sir, it was an absolute honor to be in the right side of the list, and I feel that it has been the blessings of Almighty, of all my loved ones, of the institute as well. It is also a relief that now I do not have to undergo another exam cycle. So I'm very grateful and humbled.
Right. So Sakshma, let us know where do you come from, what education you have done so far, and when did you start preparing for the civil services exam?
Sir, I am a resident of Patiala, Punjab, and I have done my graduation in BCom Honours from Sri Ram College of Commerce. And I started my preparation in the final year of the college. However, this dream of pursuing career in civil services was there in my mind right from the beginning, childhood.
All right. So Sakshma, what motivated you to start preparing for the civil services?
So the major motivation or the inspiration comes from my father, who's a government servant in the railways. But apart from that, the motivation comes from the role that we can play in the society by being a change maker. I think that is something that motivates me the most.
All right. So Sakshma, when it comes to preparing for the prelims examination, so how did you prepare for the prelims exam? Because this exam is considered to be dicey and most of the candidates are rejected in the prelims stage itself. So how did you prepare for it? Did you make any notes? And what were your last month, just before prelims, what was your strategy?
So for prelims, covering the basic syllabus, the basic books, that is the utmost necessity. But apart from that, I had this thing in mind that I had not attempted any competitive examination before. So I was not very comfortable with objective type questions. So I made sure that I did regular practice of that. So on Sundays, I would sit with the MCQs of the current affairs and solve them. But apart from that, the one main key is revision. Although I have a bit good memory, so I could retain the facts for longer time. So the rest of the time I could devote to exploring some new resources also, because the exam is becoming so unpredictable. There are questions from various dimensions and some trivial information as well. So we need to be aware of all these things to our maximum capacity. So that is why in the last month, I would say that I revised all the resources. I made short notes of only those things which I tend to forget. But apart from that, I also explored some extra resources.
All right. So after the prelims exam, the time frame is very less for the mains examination. And you have 9 papers to write in the mains exam. And you have optional subject itself, like which is public administration.
Yes, sir.
So now tell us, how did you manage your preparation between prelims and mains timing?
So between the prelims and mains, I started studying right from the next day of the prelims. I did not think that whether I'll be able to clear the prelims or not. My main focus was to cover up those subjects which I had not touched before. I focused on essay, ethics, and optional at the first place. But apart from that, I say that the most important thing is to utilize every single minute in those 3 months. So I used to study for around 15 hours also whenever required. So that is, I think, very much important, because whatever time is in hand, that has to be utilized most productively. Apart from that, I did writing practice. I had good time management. So my problem was with content building. That is why I focused on content building. I did the GS writing practice only at the last month, but I focused fully on essay, ethics, and optional right from the beginning.
All right. So, since public administration is an optional subject that you have chosen, now, what was your preparation strategy for the optional subject since beginning? And you have joined some courses at Lukman IAS also related to public
Yes, sir.
administration optional and also ethics test series. right? So tell us about your preparation, strategy for the optional subject.
So for optional subject, because I had started my preparation in 2021, so I made sure that I finish up with my optional syllabus at least once before writing the prelims. So it was in November or December that I had finished off with my syllabus of public administration. And it is something that is not my background subject. I had changed my subject from commerce and accountancy to public administration. So I was comfortable with public administration because it has a lot of overlap with management. But there were many new things also which were confusing, and I tried to understand fully on my own level. But once the prelims was over, I was very sure that I have to look for the Lukman test series and join that course. And once I joined the test series, I used to attempt the papers. I used to see the discussion videos regularly. Although I was a remote student, I was at my home, but I used to dedicate my time properly for note making out of the videos and out of the extra facts that were told by Ansari sir. I think organizing the notes played a major part because I did not have much time in hand to read the subject many number of times. But I organized my notes very properly for public administration. It's a very dynamic subject and doesn't have very defined resources as well. I think that I could do very well in paper two only because I had organized my current events notes and my basic notes very well. So I think that is something that played a major part.
All right. And this year, I mean, like year on year, the difficulty level in ethics paper is increasing, maybe because of length of the paper. So, like, what was your experience with ethics paper this year? And like, what was your preparation strategy to prepare for the ethics paper?
So to be very honest, ethics was not something that I had touched before my prelims got over. So once the prelims was over, now the main challenge was to cope up with the ethics challenges and the case studies that are asked in the paper. So I looked for certain topper copies and I tried to understand that what should be the writing style for case studies. But once it was done, I understood that the demand of the paper is going to be very different and changing because it basically tests your personality and not your capability to mug up the facts. So I joined the Lukman IS test series for ethics and I used to attempt paper. I think that the main important part of this test series was that it did not stick to the UPSC syllabus but to the whole gamut of information that flows behind ethics as a subject. So sir used to give very insightful lessons on ethics, and the test discussion videos were very useful. I used to see them. I used to revise the model answers as well. The result came out in the exam that I could attempt within 1.5 hours my case studies, and another 1.5 hours I took for the theory questions, and I could complete my paper 7 minutes before, even when other people were writing the paper. So I think that my practice helped me a lot there, and along with practice, the command over the knowledge, I think that was also something that helped me a lot.
Right. And so just after the means exam, right, you like once you got to know that like you are in the list for personality test. So how did you prepare for your personality test? And like what are the main things that you had started looking for, like, for the personality test to come?
So the notification was out by 24 November, if I'm not wrong, but the result came out on December 4, I suppose. And that was too delayed. It made us very anxious and nervous. But finally, when I came to know that I have cleared that I am going to appear in the personality test, it was another challenge for me now. And rather than celebrating my success, I was geared on to prepare for the next stage. For my personality test, I first of all gave myself time to cover my DAF properly. So I did all the homework before going to any coaching institute or any external mentors to guide me regarding what should be covered extra. So after that, I went for certain mock interviews. This was the first time that I was giving interview in my life because I've not given any interviews before. And the first interview that I gave was at Lukman IAS, and it was also their new initiative. It was also my new experience. And I think both of these things worked positively.
Yeah. So what will be your suggestion for those students who are preparing for civil services afresh, means like who have just started their journey, right? So if you look back into your journey, you have also thought in some certain manner, right, to prepare for the examination. So what would be your suggestion towards them, that what they should do?
So my major suggestion will be, because I was at my home, I was not in touch with anyone. The only thing that I had was internet. But internet is loaded with a lot of information. So we have to become a very intelligent user of the resources. We have to choose very wisely. There are n number of resources, and sometimes we fall for the wrong things as well. And we have to be very confident of our own decision, that if I have chosen that I will follow this thing, I do not have to budge from that. I have to stick to that. So I think that is very important, becoming a very intelligent user of the resources. Apart from that, yes, revision is also one of the keys. There are many other factors, but at the end of the day, it boils down to the fact that you should not emulate other strategies. You should not be a copycat. Rather than, you should learn from other strategies and try to devise a strategy of your own, your customized strategy.
All right. So what would be your message to those aspirants who are starting their journey for civil services, and also for those, let's say, like, who are exploring civil services, preparation thing? What will be your message, short message towards them?
So my short message to all those people who are aspiring to be a part of the civil services is that, first of all, you should do a complete survey about what this job is. The motivation should not be short term. It should be very long term. And the perks and perquisites, they are just a byproduct. The real thing is the service to the society. If you have that public service spirit in you and not the greed or not the hunger for power, then I think you are the right person to be in this position. And apart from that, definitely the strategy and everything that has to be done at your own end. Coaching is not spoon feeding. So you have to just get coached, but you have to then work upon yourself. So self-study plays a very important role. There will be no mentor for you. You have to be your own mentor. You have to be your own guide.
Right. So thank you so much, Sakshma, for interacting with us and sharing your insights about civil services preparation, and also sharing your message to the aspirants out there. Many of them would be looking, let's say, like, after some kind of guidance from toppers like you, so that they can, keep preparing for the civil services examination without losing much motivation. Thank you so much for interacting with us today and coming to Lukman IAS again.
Thank you, sir. It's an absolute delight for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.